Good day, docking classmates. So today I'll be discussing to you the chapter 5 of our book, which is the ethical leadership in global business. The topics that are assigned to me is how we can manage cultural differences ethically, and second is what is corporate social responsibility in a global context. So without further ado, let's go straight to the topic. So why is it important that we manage cultural differences in our workplace? So, managing cultural differences ethically is essential in global organizations because it fosters respect, strengthens collaboration, and allows diversity to become a source of innovation rather than conflict. So, kapag hindi natin na-manage ethically yung cultural differences in our workplace, possible na walang collaboration na mangyayari within our organization and sa ating mga employees as well. In connection to cultural differences, as a leader, we should address bias and promote inclusion. So, ethical leaders must actively address biases and stereotypes by promoting empathy and inclusion through training programs and inclusive leadership practices. So, typical to sa workplace natin. May iba-iba tayong employees na nagmula sa iba-ibang lugar. So, they have different beliefs. And by addressing their beliefs and understanding how or what they are believing to or believing in, we could empathize with them and we could understand each and everyone why they act that way, why they practice that belief. So by doing so, we could address the bias or biases and we could promote inclusion through training programs na mas lalo natin sila maiintindihan. And by doing so, mayroong collaboration mangyayari sa ating workplace. In managing cultural differences, we should give equal opportunity to diverse individuals. So, ethical management requires ensuring equal opportunities and actively removing barriers so that all individuals, regardless of background, can succeed in the organization. Kasi, this is certainly correct kasi I also believe na hindi sa lahat ng bagay ang isang tao is magaling. And that is true sa mga katrabaho ko din. And as I research further sa mga katrabaho ko, I found out na lahat ng tao is merong kanya-kanyang potential. They have different niche or they have different inclinations. So opportunities are also diverse. So we should give it to people na compatible or kayang gawin yung trabaho although diverse sila. Kasi those opportunities are also diverse. So we should give it to the right people na kayang gawin yung trabaho. That's how diversity works. To manage cultural differences, we should foster inclusive communication. So, inclusive communication is critical in global leadership as it ensures that all voices are heard and helps prevent misunderstandings caused by cultural differences. So, para maintindihan natin or ma-resolve natin yung conflicts within our organization, we should foster inclusive communication to heard both sides of the cultures. So by understanding both cultures, ma-identify natin kung ano yung pinagmulan ng conflict. Is it because of their belief or is it because of the other one's belief? So by doing so, we could implement or pwede tayo magkaroon ng tawag dyan, bridge or resolution to resolve the conflict. As a leader, we should also develop cross-cultural competence. Developing cross-cultural competence enables leaders to effectively manage diverse teams and adapt to different cultural environments in global business. So, by understanding kung ano yung mga iba-ibang cultural beliefs ng ating mga employee or subordinates, pwede natin silang um, maintindihan sa kanilang mga practices. And by doing so is mas maiintindihan natin sila deeply and kung saan sila nagmumula if there were conflicts arising from their beliefs and also on how they behave because of their cultural difference. So how do we resolve conflict arising from cultural differences? So ethical leaders must handle conflicts arising from cultural differences by encouraging open dialogue and finding solutions that respect both ethical standards and relationships. So kanina we've talked about cross-cultural differences na dapat as a leader we should understand and be knowledgeable about the cultural differences between both parties or our employees or subordinates na alam natin kung saan sila um, nagmumula or ano yung pinaghuhugutan nila na belief and practices from their culture. So, by encouraging open dialogue, we could find solutions na respected and both ethical sa standard ng ating mga empleyado. One of the adversities also for for a business is to manage the global ethics and the local practices. So global leaders must strike a balance between maintaining universal ethical standards and respecting local cultural practices to operate responsibly across different regions. So kung hindi natin ma-manage yung standard natin for global ethics and to adopt the local practices to kung saan tayo nag-establish ng business is possible na hindi magbo-boom yung business natin dun sa region or dun sa local na pinagtayuan natin ng business. So what is the benefit of practicing proactive diversity management? Organizations that proactively manage cultural diversity create inclusive environments that enhance collaboration, innovation, and long-term sustainability. So, of course, if we could effectively manage the cultural differences within our workplace, that will certainly enhance collaboration within our employees, and they could also suggest innovations and for of, of course, for the um, goal of the long-term sustainability. And now let's move on to my second main topic, which is the corporate social responsibility in a global context. Now, what is corporate social responsibility in a global context? So, corporate social responsibility in a global context is a continuous and strategic commitment where organizations actively consider the needs of their stakeholders while promoting environmental sustainability, social welfare, and ethical governance. More importantly, CSR practices must be flexible and adaptable to different countries since social expectations, cultural values, and regulatory environments vary across regions or countries. So CSR is one of the factors or ways na pwede nating gawin in order for us to um, gain trust from our stakeholders and para makilala yung brand natin or yung company natin, whatever we are um, bringing to the market. So it also emphasizes the trust to our stakeholders. Now we are not only selling but we are also what do you call that? We are also socially, environmentally responsible as a business. So, what is the core characteristics of CSR? The core characteristics of CSR highlight that it is not merely a legal obligation, but a voluntary and ethical responsibility. It is stakeholder-oriented, meaning it considers the impact of business decisions on all stakeholders, and it emphasizes sustainability and long-term value. Most importantly, CSR must be integrated into the organization's overall strategy to be truly effective. So again, the core characteristics of CSR is voluntary, it is ethical, it is stakeholder oriented, it is sustainable, and integrated into business strategy. So, what are CSR in different organizational contexts? So, CSR practices vary depending on the organizational context, such as company size, industry, and stakeholder pressure. Large organizations typically implement more formal and structured CSR programs due to greater public visibility, while smaller firms often focus on community based initiatives. Regardless of size, CSR remains an important tool for building trust and maintaining ethical standards. So, there are CSR in different organizational contexts. For the context such as company size, pareha ng pareha ng San Miguel Corporation and iba-iba pang mga lalaking mga company. Sometimes they are donating to school or even making schools. And those smaller organizations, they typically provide food to um, poor poor population, so they could also receive groceries and food supplies. So depending on the context of the organization, so they vary on their CSR as well. There's also a difference in CSR on developed versus developing countries. So CSR priorities differ significantly between developed and developing countries. In developed nations, CSR focuses on sustainability, governance, and transparency due to strong regulatory systems. In contrast, developing countries emphasize social needs such as education and poverty reduction, with many CSR initiatives driven by multinational corporations operating in these regions. So, para sa atin sa Pilipinas, most of the organizations or businesses or companies established in the Philippines, their CSR is focusing on the poverty reduction or to helping the poor, and they give out education or scholarships to eligible students. So there are also challenges in emerging or transitional economies when implementing our CSR. In emerging and transitional economies, CSR faces unique challenges such as weak institutions, corruption, and ongoing economic changes. As a result, the adoption and implementation of CSR vary widely. For example, CSR in Russia tends to be less developed, while in China, it is more influenced by government policies. This highlights the importance of ethical leadership in guiding responsible business practices in such environments. So para dito sa atin sa Pilipinas, may mga companies or big organization na nagdo-donate ng through their CSR sa mga community or schools, and some of it is being corrupted na ang mga recipient noon or yung mga taong nag-receive noon is binabawasan nila kung ano man yung i-denominate ng organization before giving it to the original recipient. So in conclusion, effective global leadership lies in the ability to navigate ethical challenges, respect cultural differences, and integrate corporate social responsibility into every decision, ensuring that business success is not only profitable, but also ethical, inclusive, and sustainable. Thank you everyone for listening. And before I go, I will leave you with this quote: great leadership travels across screens.